Alright, this video will be a talk on Star Wars for a bit, okay? It seems that Disney is thankfully having trouble with the Star Wars property because their Star Wars theme park sales are down. It might even get closed. And the movies, ever since The Last Jedi, Solo, have been so turned off the fan base, okay, with what's happening. And I thought, let's talk in that bit and give my thoughts on it. And there's a lot of good YouTube channels out there, but they're always like really, I guess for lack of a better word, aggressive on the topic and what's going on. And I think I'll handle it more laid back, this video, And my thoughts first are, Disney bought Marvel and then Star Wars for about the same price, in the billions or so range. But with Marvel, they made their money back. And I always thought Marvel sold for too low. It should have sold for about 10 billion to 15 billion, my personal opinion. Because as a Marvel fan, I knew they had the big name properties. You had Spider-Man, you had the X-Men. Okay, they got the rights back, but they had that, the Fantastic Four. You had Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, you had the Punisher, Wolverine. You have a bunch of money makers, okay? A bunch of top brands, and each character holds their own universe. The problem with Star Wars is it's really just one brand. It's really just a few characters who interact together, because a lot of the Star Wars characters are pretty much one-dimensional. You can't build a world around them. You can't build a story just on stormtroopers, really. They're background characters, There's only a few main characters in the Star Wars universe from the original 6 movies. And even with that, the new characters that Disney is making are not really accepted. You see, with Marvel, you have a lot of characters, and a lot of characters who are B-level, C-level, or D-level, but they're still characters that you could bring to the big screen. With Star Wars, you're limited in terms of the number of characters established you can use, and any new characters they're making are not really getting over. And the problem is, the Star Wars phenomena is gone. Back in our days, if you had the late 70s, the 80s generation, they were into the property. It captured the imagination, it captured the attention. But you look at the 5 to 15-year-olds now, they are not enamored with Star Wars. They are not interested in it. They're interested in these other video games, these other movie properties. They're interested in the Marvel movie properties, which is funny because it's Marvel competing with Star Wars in a way for the 5 to 15-year-old fan base, and that fan base is mostly into the Marvel stuff, not the Star Wars stuff. And so that's it, that the fan appeal between those key demographics for the young generation. Star Wars is just a property. I'm not sure if you're hearing that audio. That's a rooster. For real, okay? That's next door. Anyway. So I was getting to talk about Star Wars. It's that the new generation is not enamored with this property. It's just a property, And the lack of toy sales, the toy declines, the fact that no one is camping outside, sitting outside for weeks on end to see the next Star Wars movie, like they used to do with George Lucas, and that's not going to happen anymore. It's all signs that it's over. The phenomena of Star Wars, it's over, And the only ones holding on to it are the people in our generation. If you're in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, or older, that is the only ones who are supporting this property, really. The younger people, not really. not in the numbers that they need. And the representation of Star Wars, what they're doing, in other words, attacking the fan base, attacking the people who are criticizing the decisions they're making, that's only going to turn off more people, and that it's just a terrible method of public relations that they're doing. And, you know, it all comes down to leadership, and that is, why did they put a woman in charge of admittedly a manly property to steer the direction of the future of the brand? And because we've seen the result. It's identity politics, it's gender politics, it was an agenda, okay? Instead of hiring, let's be honest, why couldn't they put a male in charge of a manly property to steer the future of a manly property appealing to boys and to men? You would think that would be the logical choice, but that's not the world we live in today, right? And now they are learning the consequences of their actions, you know? And so we'll see what happens, but that's the main issue. You know, episode 8 might have turned off the fan base, but all the elements were there that I don't think, even had episode 8 succeeded, that the fan base, the younger generation, they're not really into this anymore. The Star Wars magic is gone, and the only ones who are still into it are the 30s, 40s, 50s, or older generations, and that's about it. And you know, finally, you know, the best way to show your protest on Star Wars is don't see the movies when they're publicly released. You know, don't support it. You know, their big money is the movie business. The DVD, the Blu-ray, that's like secondary, the merchandise. But the real big money is when the movie is out there. That's where the big money comes in. And if the people don't show up, or the movie fails to live up to expectations, that is the key point, you know. But, you know, I do wonder, on a final point, of all of the people who are criticizing Star Wars, etc., how many of them are going to see episode 9 or watch it on home video one day? You know, the best way to protest is don't even watch it at all anymore. And I'll admit, I think I will watch episode 9 on home video, not in the theater, because I'm still curious enough not to 100% get rid of it. But, you know, Star Wars, the best way to describe it is a video I saw. A title is, think of it this way: episodes 1 to 6, the George Lucas stuff is real, it happened. Anything Disney does is what-if material. It's not the original canon, it's not the true vision of Star Wars, it's what-if, okay? And if you treat Star Wars by Disney as what-if material that really doesn't count and it's not official, then I think it's more enjoyable that way, because then you'll always think subconsciously, it's not officially counting, it's not real, this isn't the true deal anymore. And so that's my Star Wars talk, a bit all over, but let me know what you thought about it. Subscribe, hit the notification button, and I'll talk to you later.